Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video, and today I am sharing a little bit on the area of personal development because I am so passionate about personal development. I want to talk about a topic that I think a lot of us have had some difficulty with at some point in our life, or maybe we're still struggling in this area, and that's really discovering our truest potential. How hard is it to really figure out what we're good at and to be able to honestly own it, unapologetically, and own it? Guys, this is something that I've struggled with for a lot of years throughout my journey. And I think a big thing is we have a hard time believing in ourselves, in our abilities, and being able to really own it and really go out into the world. But let me tell you something. When you can really start to discover what your potential is and to really be able to step up and share that with the world, you become almost limitless. That is when you start to live. That's when you start to bring all of those things that bring you happiness and fulfillment. So let me go back a little bit, because by the end of the video, I want to share with you guys a couple of action steps that you can take that's going to really help you understand what you're really good at and really understand your potential to the fullest, and to stop doubting yourself, stop kind of holding yourself back, and really start to believe in you and to be able to step up and be all of you. So to share a little story, because I think it brings in a lot of example in terms of how our upbringing and how our outer environment has a lot of influence on us as people. So growing up, I was a kid who was very shy, and I didn't really have a lot of self-confidence, and I didn't really have a lot of self-belief. And so growing up, I had this mindset that I wasn't good enough, and that led to a lot of self-sabotage and things and habits. And so growing up, it just was really hard for me to be able to step up and be myself. It was really hard for me to be able to act on these ideas or to go out and do something that was new, because I didn't have enough self-belief. And I think that because I saw a lot of people who were close to me that didn't necessarily model it back to me. So sometimes we grow up in families, and depending on the dynamics, and sometimes we grow up in an environment, and again, depending on the dynamic, it really has a lot of influence on us as a whole as to whether we go out into the world fully believing in ourselves and our abilities, or going out into the world with a lot of self-doubt and a lot of limiting beliefs and things that just hold us back from our true happiness. So long story short, kind of going from a kid and growing into a teenager, I think it was during my teenage days where I started to understand that I wasn't a victim of my circumstances, and that I wasn't a product of my environment, yet I had full control over who I am and the choices that I got to make in this world. And the biggest challenge that I had was the mindset piece, because I grew up in an environment where the mindset was somewhat negative, more negative than positive. And it was really hard to be able to break out of that, to allow myself to grow and flourish. And recently, I just started a program with a bunch of other ladies who are working toward developing their own abilities and their own skills and growing into becoming themselves, and to go out into the world and to share that. So it's like a personal development type of program. And the biggest thing that I've noticed inside of it is the mindset. And because we live in a world where we're programmed at an early age, we have this sort of story that we tell ourselves. We have this story that I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not worthy enough, whatever it is. We all have a story, and that story stems from our childhood. It stems from our parents, our teachers, our environment, and it kind of molds us into this little being that goes out into the world when we become adults. And we're just kind of thrown into reality and being like, okay, figure it out. And oftentimes I see a lot of people sad. I see a lot of people who are miserable. I see a lot of people who are depressed because they haven't quite been able to figure out what it is that they want in this world and being able to recognize their own potential. But the biggest thing that I have noticed from countless interviews with different individuals, from thousands of conversations with both women and men, is that every single one of them, I could see so much potential in them, but they could not see it for themselves. Hey, this was me. And sometimes I still find myself, tripping up over, oh, should I do this? Or is this a bad idea? Or are you good enough to be able to pursue this idea? When we have this story that we tell ourselves for years and years and years, it's really hard to break through that story and to create a new one. But let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what type of household you grew up in. It doesn't matter what type of neighborhood you come from. It doesn't matter what your background is. The thing that matters most, that most people don't know, is that you have all the power and ability to be able to change it at any given minute. Yes. And I know you're probably thinking, you're super naive, Whitley, and that is impossible. I can't be the person who can change my circumstances. This is just me. This is the cards that I was dealt. But it doesn't have to be the case, and it isn't the case. I come from growing up in a low-income neighborhood. I was a high school dropout. I had my first child, at the age of 17. And because I didn't want to live that story, the story that many other people around me were living, I wanted to break that cycle and I wanted to create a new story for myself. In creating that new story for myself, it took work, but I was able to go back to high school and finish. I was able to go to college and take business. I was able to go on and create a network for women. I was able to go on and accomplish many other goals. I was able to go on and be the first woman in my family to get her driver's license and to buy my first car. And I'm not saying that all of these materialistic type of objects are what's important. So I don't want you to get the wrong idea. It's the fact that if I had chosen to stick with not believing in myself, if I chose to stick with the old story that I was living out, then I wouldn't have been able to experience the things that I get to experience today. Like right now, I'm shooting this video from the beautiful island of Prince Edward Island, and I'm on vacation with my family, and I'm so grateful for it. But I don't think that I would be able to truly experience these types of things had I not made the choices to be the person who was in the driver's seat. If I had not made the choices to change the story that I was telling myself. So let's dive into some of the steps that you can take if you find yourself being stuck, if you find yourself constantly doubting your abilities, or someone who doesn't really see the potential in yourself. I want to share a few steps that can help you start to move forward and to start to take action in your life to live that dream life that I know you secretly dream of, that you secretly desire deep down. And so without further ado, the first one would be recognizing what you're really good at. Guys, I know how hard this can be. Recognizing our strengths, our talents, our skills. You have them, we all have them, but sometimes it's really, really hard to be able to identify them and to actually write them down. But I'm going to challenge you because I know that you are a person who has many different talents, who has many different skills and strengths. So, first step, sit down when you have absolutely a quiet, when you have some quiet time, sit down and I want you to list out at least 5 things that you know you're absolutely good at. Whether it's, taking care of other people, or maybe it's writing, maybe you're a really good writer, or maybe it's taking care of animals, maybe it's leadership or speaking, maybe it's just being someone who can be that really good listener. Maybe you're somebody who people can come to you for advice and things like that. So I want you to sit down and I want you to list out 5 things that you know that you're really, really good at, okay? And be gentle with yourself, like be nice to yourself and own that, okay? So the second step is to, and this one's a tough one, but the second step, it's crucial. It's reframing your mindset. So kind of going back to the whole story. What is your story right now, and what has been the story that you've been living out this far in your life? And does that story match up with the person that you dream to be? We all have this like dream, and we all have this like secret life that we desire. And sometimes we share it with others, sometimes we just keep it to ourselves. And maybe you haven't really reflected on it much, but if you sit with yourself and you think about that, is that story, is that image, is that vision adding up with the person you are today? And if it's not, then chances are you're going to make some changes. So when it comes to reframing your mindset, what do I mean by this? I mean by surrounding yourself with people, with things, with growth materials that are going to allow you to step into that vision that you have of yourself. So, for example, if you are somebody, and chances are you're into personal development, you're into growing and moving forward. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here watching this video. So watching videos, watching people, listening to podcasts, reading books, things that are going to nurture your mind, things that are going to allow you to grow and step into that person that you know you want to be. So step 2 is reframing your mindset. Step 3 is knowing that you have a purpose. We all have a purpose in this world, whether you realize it or not. And if you got really, really honest with yourself, you probably have felt this or have heard this little whisper. I like to call it a little whisper, because it's this little voice that's inside of us that says to us, I wonder if I could do that. That would be something that would be really, really awesome. It's probably an idea or something that you feel really passionate about doing in this world. And let me tell you, your purpose is in so many different ways, but there are your passions are what allow you to live out your purpose. So knowing that maybe you're here to be an advocate for equality in some manner. Maybe your purpose is to be here to help others. Maybe your purpose is to save and help animals. Maybe your purpose is leading an organization. Maybe your purpose is helping others when they're in need. Maybe your purpose is, it could be so many different things. But knowing that you have a purpose allows you to see the greatness within you, allows you to know that you have greatness and you have potential within you that is to be served up in this world and shared with this world. Number 4 is telling yourself a different story. Again, so imagining what it is that you really want to achieve in this world and then matching that story, rewriting the story. You are the author of your story. You can write which characters you want in your story. You can write what's going to happen in your story. You can write how you're going to react to certain events and situations in your story. You are the author and you get to write the masterpiece. So why not pick up the pen and start writing your own story and stop allowing other people to write it for you? This piece is powerful, but if you implement it, trust me, it will yield results in your life. And the last piece, and this, my friends, is so important. It's support, community, surrounding yourself with other people who are dedicated to their growth, who are dedicated to bettering themselves. Surrounding yourself with these people are going to allow you to move forward more easily and faster. If you're somebody who's trying to better yourselves and yet your circle of friends are negative, complainers, people who expect you to put them before you, just people who are just a drainage on your energy, you're not going to be able to move forward with ease. It's just a reality. So surrounding yourself with people, like-minded people, people who want to evolve in their journey, that is key. And then having that community is huge. Having people who are mentors, having people who are going to be supporters. These are all such important elements in your personal journey, in your development. So those are your 5 steps, guys, for today. Number 1, recognize what you're good at, writing them down. 5 things, okay? And I'm gonna even like challenge you even more. I want you to share them in the comments. Even just one. Share one really good thing that you're good at in the comments, and I want to know. And the second piece is reframing your mindset. So again, learning and rewriting that story for yourself. The third one is knowing that you have a purpose. Sit with yourself and actually figure out what it is that you truly want to do in this life. Guys, you've got one life. Use it. And the next one is tell yourself a different story. Be the author of your own story. Stop letting other people write it for you. Pick up that pen and start today. And the final piece, again, is having that supportive circle around you. All right, so with a little bit of belief, a little bit of patience and persistence, trust me, all of these steps are steps that I've taken in my own journey that have allowed me to make the changes that I've been able to make in my life. And I still practice them every day because I am only human and I'm still growing, I'm still evolving, I'm still climbing the mountain with the rest of you. So whether you're a few steps ahead or a few steps behind, we're all in this together. And so just continue to implement those things and just back it up with belief, back it up with patience and persistence. And trust me, you will get to where you want to be. The other thing is I want you to be gentle with yourself. We are human. We're not perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. This is a journey. And all we really want to focus on is progressing. Progress over perfection every day. All right, guys, so that's it for this week's video. If you like this video, hit subscribe, hit the notifications button so that when I release a new video, you will get notified. I release weekly videos every Monday, every Wednesday, personal development with a little bit of fun as well. Check out my upcoming video on Wednesday. I've got my entire family trip all put together for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, so check it out. And again, guys, if you need more learning material, if you need things that are going to help you in your journey, and if you like these kind of things, make sure to subscribe. I'm here to help you and support you. Also, for community, I'm here to support you and to provide that community for you as you progress on your journey. I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks for watching.